what I was trying to say before
difficult.
about the oscillation, that you've trained your body to respond that way. So it's you then don't have to think about it, but you can think about it.
Yeah, I can watch it. I can watch it and interrupt it because I'm consciously I'm riding the horse.
Yeah.
And I've got a like 4-ounce grip on it.
But can you explain mechanically what you mean by the hip stopping it? Because I think that's an important point.
So in other words, the rotation is not being able to complete. In other words, if this was the kick, it's reliant on a pull
and a push.
And a push, and that is the dog wagging the tail. If I did that, that's the tail wagging
the dog.
Dog. That's for our Mr. whatever his name is over wherever he is. The dynamics of the. That's a dynamic. That is a dynamic axis. And it can move around, and it can change angles, and it can even be upside down. It can be laying on the floor. It can fucking well be anywhere. So, but if we haven't got this part of it, we're only doing that part of it, and this part is stopping this part from taking place.
Can I just say something though? You said the tail wagging the dog. Wouldn't it be that if this was? Yeah, but that's a karate kick. That's a tail wagging the dog, isn't it?
This is how a normal rotation. You know, if I was using a stick, whatever I want to use on the stick. Here, there's an axis. See?
Yeah.
And there's an application of force, and here's a pull.
Right.
Do you see it?
Yep.
Now, if I did this, I couldn't do it. But now, if I took that same thing, and I load this up, look.
Right.
If I'm trying to move this is the punch or the kick, and I'm trying to move this against an axis which is fixed. I won't get it. but if I just pull this back a little bit, it lines up to go in.
Right.
And that's the same as if wherever I wanted to work this thing, if this other side of it isn't operating in conjunction or in coordination with it to couple the forces about this axis, it won't take place.
And that's what you mean by no passengers.
No passengers. Everything is involved in the action. And that is like, here I'm applying, here if you like, the angle, for a small change in the angle,
you get a big tail.
I'm getting an angular velocity out there, which is big.
Yeah.
For a small movement down here, I'm getting a fucking great big one up here.
Yeah.
So the moment arm, if you like, internally if it's a perpendicular line drawn from this line of force to the joint.
Yeah.
Externally, it's from where I take the axis.
To where you need to go.
To where I need to go. There's a perpendicular, see the line?
Yeah. Yeah.
So so sometimes I'm using shots which are really, particularly head, I'm looking for tremendous speed to get on this shot, like rather like I was throwing the javelin.
Right.
Which I was an army, blah blah blah.
Yeah, we just got your medals, didn't we?
Yeah, we just got my medal. So, but here I'm using this now, this part of my leverage of my body, about an axis, whether it's the spine or the hip, to actually create a very short, powerful leverage. Something which is going to what? Lift up a rock.
Yeah.
Body shot.
Okay.
Where I need to make a lot of display. I need to get into the meat, into the bone of the guy, before I can even do any damage.
Okay.
Here I've just got to rotate his head.
Right.
So if I'm doing this, and I'm working against this fixed axis here, then this hip is effectively out of the couple.
Right.
It's actually dead.
So you've lost half of your...
I'm slamming a door. There's nothing on the other fucking side of the door. Yeah. I need something to be actively withdraw. It's just
a baseball player. Yeah.
Yeah. I said to them at the Wallicott the other day that if anybody's got a photograph of me down it was in one of Terry O'Neill's early fighting arts magazines, of me breaking wood over Brian Weiss, and the wood actually fucking bounced across the floor and splintered. It just didn't break and fall on the floor.
Yeah.
But if you see my stance when I'm doing it, my whole body is torqued. It's pulling to the center.
Yeah.
By pulling, and you see it in the nunchaku shots I do, by pulling my weight to the center, I increase the rotation.
Yeah.
That's why I'm pulling into my center, not what?
Not out. Not out for balance.
Because by pulling the weight in, on the conservation of momentum, I'll increase the angular velocity.
It's like the ice skater.
Yeah, just like the
and
ice
also,
skater.
but if that hip goes away, that's how your legs end up crossing. You see that with baseball players all the time.
You'll see it. And they're the guys who are hitting the fucking home runs.
Yeah, and their legs they're almost falling over. Their legs are crossed so much.
And you'll see that. And it's not that you would do that in a fight. And if you were to twist in a fight, it isn't a stance. It's a fucking result of doing this. you know.
Yeah. I can't get that on the shot, but...
Does that make sense? So it does. But equally, it's the same with here. For this needs to be held. So for whatever kick or punch I'm doing, the glute, if you like, if I did this,
yeah, it's
then
disconnected.
It's disconnected. I can't. Any force is just going to fucking. This is going to wobble out.
Yeah.
So I have to be able to hold these axes. There's the stability part.
Yeah.
Here my shoulders are very what?
Loose.
Loose. But if I hit them with very loose, I'm going to fucking get a rotary cuff.
Yeah.
So I've got to look for stability in mobility or motility. Is it mobility?
Yeah.
And here my hips are very stable, very strong. There's not so much range of motion in them. They're very strong in the pelvic area with the pelvic girdle, the abdominal area.
Yeah.
But I can't just say they are fixed and stable.
Yeah.
I've got to look for movement. It's not going to be great because if I now go big on them, I'm going to lose the stability.
Yeah.
So I've got to look for motion within stability and stability within motion. I don't know if that makes sense.
So that's what each joint has its own optimal range of motion, and that's the optimal range of motion side.
And that's just the dynamics, the tactics, the